Next up, the Indiana Hoosiers. Let's talk about it. Locked On Illini. Let's go.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome one, welcome all to another Monday. That's right. 2 episodes today on Locked On Illini. My name is Sunny Verma. Thank you all so much for making us your first listen each and every day. Now, usually the night before, what I try to do is I sit here and I record the next day's episode. And so if we have a game on Tuesday, I'll probably record the scouting report, not necessarily the scouting report, the game preview the night before and release it for all of you to consume on game day, essentially. But of course, with all the secrecy and just lack of knowledge on what's going on with Kasparis, I didn't feel like I had enough knowledge to really give a full game preview. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow for that episode. So expect to see that early sometime Tuesday, what the Illini have to do to defeat the Hoosiers on Tuesday night, which is going to be a huge game for both. But I didn't want to just leave you all hanging. So what I decided to do was do the next best thing. But before I get to that, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. So again, because it's hard for me to talk about what the Illini need to do for Tuesday evening's bout at Assembly Hall. What I figured what we can do is bring on an expert from the Indiana Hoosiers. And look, I'll be honest, I just started doing this professionally for about a year and a half, right? But I've been a Big Ten Illini fan for over 25, 30 years. And I can count on one finger how many Indiana Hoosiers fans I actually get along with. And for that reason, I'm going to bring on that one gentleman, Burke White from the Often Daunted podcast. Burke, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it's all my pleasure, man. I figured after we got absolutely destroyed by Iowa, I was like, where can a Hoosier find sympathy? Definitely on the Locked On Illini podcast. Awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. I mean, this is a game where both of us are coming off of really bad losses. You guys in a literal sense, like, getting blown out by the Iowa Hawkeyes, and Illinois in the sense where they just didn't show up in a game against USC. And, it's clearly the worst performance Illinois has had all season long. Unfortunately, the Illini tend to do that once or twice a season. Hopefully we got it out of the way. The good thing is that usually Brad Underwood teams bounce back, pretty well after those, no-shows, as I like to call it. But today's episode is more so going to be about the Hoosiers. So this show's being done live. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions for Burke, let us know in the chat, and I'll try to get to them at the end of the show. Again, more so questions on Indiana. Tomorrow, we can talk about what Illinois needs to do to win this game. So, Burke, I'm going to be very careful on how I phrase this, because I know, the psyche of Indiana Hoosiers fans might be a little fragile at the moment. So,
no, hey, I'm gonna speak to that right away. I'm gonna tell you, man. As hostile as Hoosier fans have been, as hostile as Hoosier basketball fans can be, it's sad to see, because just the repetition of what we're being subjected to, honestly, is what it feels like. I mean, we put in enough resources to be able to feel a little bad about what's going on. Most teams sit at 4-2 starting the conference season, and they feel good. I mean, you guys feel the same way. I promise you, when we're talking bounce back games, while ours is a bigger, we need to bounce back, our fan base has to have far less faith in the ability to bounce back, even though it's at Assembly Hall. And we're talking Indiana's undefeated at Assembly Hall this year. Assembly Hall is still an issue. And hey, with respect, I will say Simon Scott, Assembly Hall on the Locked On Illini podcast. I will make sure to make that separation. But it's Indiana fans deserve to kind of throw a fit when things don't work out. And people have said all year, I mean, leading up to this, it's Mike Woodson. It's Mike Woodson. And Indiana fans just, we saddled up for the season. We said, this is it. Without a doubt, we are giving him every resource we got, every resource he needs to put together a contender. I mean, Mike Woodson has been saying, let's win the Big Ten now since 2 seasons ago with Jalen Hood-Schifino. And it's like, it's just nothing has pointed. We haven't been climbing in the right direction. We've only been spending more money.
So let's talk about that. I had you actually on my other show, Illini Cast, at the end of last basketball season, and the mood was very somber. You were very much at the point of like, hey, let's move on from this head coach. Let's do something. Let's try something else. And it seems like Indiana heard you in the sense where they went all in when it came to NIL. You guys outspent most of the country, if not everybody. Certainly in the Big Ten Conference, you acquired some really, really good college basketball players. But unfortunately, you guys didn't necessarily get off to the start that you guys want to. So let's just say, 4-2, as you said, is not a bad conference record. But how has Indiana, who I believe was second in the preseason rankings when it came to the Big Ten?
Oh, yeah. And then they were second because they couldn't put him first because of Matt Painter and Mike Woodson. And that was the argument. Like, oh, they're only second because of Mike Wood. That's the Mike Woodson negative bump, and that's the Painter positive bump. And it's like the paper says that this team should be so much better than they are. Right. And I'm not disagreeing with that paper because I thought this team should be better than they have been for the past 4 seasons.
So let's just talk about this season. What's happening? What's going on?
Well, I mean, since coming back from the break, Oumar Ballo looks good, man. He is a strong presence in the paint. He is bringing all the physicality he needs. The only problem is it's just nowhere else on the floor. Like the consistency isn't there. I mean, and that seems to be an issue with each of these teams. I think that the likes of TJD covered up a lot of Indiana's issues back then because TJD, now we can see him on the Warriors doing it undersized in the NBA, doing the same things he was doing. And it's like, dude, it did work. He was a generational talent. Mm-hmm. The fact that Indiana didn't win anything with him is a crime. Exactly. It's just same roster. I mean, different rosters, same result. It just feels. And speaking on same result, man, I'm talking when Indiana fans are getting beat down this year, they are getting beat down. This team doesn't just lose. We go down in a blaze of glory. And it's so 12 of Mike Woodson's 31 losses in Big Ten play through his 3 and 5 games of coaching the Indiana Hoosiers. He has lost by more than 15 points. 15 points. And he's made that is Big Ten teams making you look like a MAC school. And it's like, dude, you haven't played Purdue in Illinois only. Like, that isn't who we're playing every time. That's against the likes of Nebraska. Like, we just got boat raced by them in Nebraska. And that was Hoiberg's 4th win on the season over Mike Woodson.
Oh, wow.
He's 4-0 in the year 20, not on the season, in the year 2024, the calendar year 2024.
Oh, okay.
Hoiberg got the best of the Hoosiers 4 times. And the 5 have been by at least 20 points, 5 of those 31 losses, and 16 have been it's just crazy, man. It is a team that if they don't punch back right away, if you get one big jab in them and you can put them down, it's just nowhere to be seen. The fight, and speaking to the fight, thank you to all of the Illinois fan base. I want to thank you guys because Brad Underwood has given us one of the only fighters on this roster. You look at the team, and Luke Good is yelling at these guys, coaching, being a player's coach as a first-year transfer. And that speaks volumes to that he feels that he can even do that. Right. Have confidence in yourself to go out there. But shouldn't there be personalities on a team of so many returning guys that that's their job, dude? But that is just an inconsistent accountability from the top down. And that it's just been rotten. It's been rotten. Talking about accountability. Yeah, I mean, Ballo has bounced back since there has been that little whatever.
Actually, let's get to that before I get to my first break. It was you that got. How do I say
it may
this?
or may not have been my account that tweeted the photo.
Exactly.
He was out.
For those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about, Burke, please tell the story.
Okay, I am at Nick's pre-gaming, the one game a year I get to go to now that I have kids and have responsibilities and a full-time career and doing it all. I'm just looking forward to seeing my Hoosiers go out there, give their all against the likes of Winthrop, man. Winthrop. So then I see on the pregame injury report, Umar Ballo listed as out. What was funny was the night before, I got a picture of him at upstairs, and I thought, oh, we play Winthrop, no big deal. Hey, work hard, play hard. Dude, if you don't work hard, you don't get to play hard. That's crazy. And that is just an institutional unawareness. Like, that's a lack of accountability. And it is, they're kids. People want to say they're kids. Well, if they're kids, then we need to hire babysitters, because who gives a kid a truckload of cash?
Like, now let's expand a little bit, because this isn't an Illini audience. Upstairs it's what, a bar?
Yes.
So,
yes,
basically, Burke, it was your spouse, was it?
Yeah. Well, we got a picture together, and I zoomed in on the part, but I saw him in the background, and I was like, oh, no way. Oh, that's awesome. We'll go show that. Of course, I would never have done it. And then I saw he's listed as out, man.
Right.
And it's like, yeah. And it's like, you even second guess it if it's like somebody who's been here, dude. This dude is a mercenary that we need to be paying to perform.
Mm-hmm.
He's a mercenary. Don't tell me he loves Indiana.
Right.
I love Indiana. Don't tell me so it's either they're grown adults and can be held accountable for the paychecks they're doing, and people are like, oh, you can go into work and perform. It's like, dude, you don't go out the night, miss work the next day, and then your boss is cool with it.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. And it speaks to, honestly, what I think is wrong with the Mike Woodson tenure. He loses like an NBA coach. Mm-hmm. He accepts it's almost an unwritten, it's just part of it, losing. And he accepts it. Like when he sees the writing on the wall for his team, there's no fight. He's like, man, it's a loss. That happens in the league. And it's like, dude, that's not a winning coach's mentality in college basketball.
All right, let's actually talk about more of the individual players right after this. This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was dealing with piles of paperwork and frustrating forms, and then waiting and wondering and worrying if you were going to get any money back. Now, Taxes is easily uploading your forms to TurboTax Expert, who's matched to your unique tax situation. An expert who's backed by the latest technology, which cross-checks millions of data points for 100% accuracy. While they work on your taxes, you get real-time updates on all their progress, and you get the most money back guaranteed, all while you go about your day. No stressing, no worrying, no waiting. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantee. So we can carry over the conversation from the first segment to this one in talking about Umar Ballo and that picture that ended up going viral, and he seemingly got in trouble for, once it hit the news cycle. But since that incident, he's really been balling out. I mean, he's been one of the. Is this all? Are you taking credit for this, Burke?
A program needs custodians. If I have to grab a mop, I'm gonna grab a mop. Okay.
I mean, against Rutgers, he had 17 and 12. Penn State 25 and 13. USC 23 and 8. Only 10 and 13 against Iowa, but the whole team stunk. No offense against Iowa. So it's just one of those collective team efforts. He's the one guy who, I very much, and I'm going to talk about this in my preview tomorrow. I would not be surprised if Umar went 30 and 15 tomorrow against Illinois. Just the style of play Illinois plays. in particular against big men like this, he might be able to get his points and rebounds. And he's just, I mean, you talked about needing him to become a mercenary. He's become one.
Yeah, absolutely. Since that, I mean, there is no correlating factor there, but man, he has really found something. Somebody has talked to him, and he has found it. It's been awesome to see. He is the source of reliability on this team because, yeah, we'll get into Rice after this, but with Malik's injury, he has, because that also plays into what we are seeing with him. More is being asked of him. He has played the more minutes than he like basically ever did. I think he only had like 24 in that Iowa game, but that was just a garbage time game, basically. But without Malik on the floor, looks like the floor is a lot more spread. He can do what he wants down low. Offense is moving a lot better with the ability to spread the floor. That being said, it is a large problem, the turnovers right now for Indiana. And that is just weak passes, man. It's just lapses in judgment. It is just lack of execution. The team looks tired at times. I don't want to go to that because that is what a lot of Indiana fans are pointing to, just how they didn't look like they were ready for the season compared to some of these guys. But it is like, if they are tired, if they are under conditioned, you don't have time to sweat the little things. And in order to win in the Big Ten, you need to sweat the little things. You need to sweat how crisp you're making each pass, because the moment you rest on that, like you just saw it in the Iowa game, Iowa was just wreaking havoc. And it wasn't so much a credit to them, which they do have a defense that generates a lot of turnovers, but it was just Indiana coming out soft as all heck. But the backcourt is a part of that. And can I talk about Miles Rice for a little bit?
I was going to say, let's talk about Miles Rice for a second, because I was actually on your show. I think it was a couple of months ago where we did our Big Ten predictions, I believe it was.
Yeah. Tell me how wrong I was, please.
I think you had him in the All Big Ten team. I
had KJ up there too. You got to give a Hoosier fan enough. That.
Yes, fair enough. But right now he's sporting Rice. That is sporting averages of 12. Points, 3.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds. He's struggled as of late, at least from what I've heard. Like, tell me your opinion on Miles Rice's season so far.
Yeah, it doesn't seem so much like that 12 number is so deceiving, because it's not 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. It's been like 20, 4, 4, 4, 22, 4, 7, 4. Like, what he does is vastly improve Indiana's ceiling from where it was last season. Like, compared to our backcourt last year, the ceiling is raised because when Miles Rice is on, it is such a valuable weapon for this team. And but it is that inconsistency that is just almost a characteristic of this program at this point. And it is like these guys, they didn't have it before. How are they catching inconsistency? Who's got it? We need to eliminate patient zero, because this is an issue.
How long is Malik Renew going to be absent for?
I don't know. And it's going to be
we know what that's
so interesting. It is going to be so interesting to see how Mike Woodson handles him coming back, because Mike Woodson is going to win or lose Mike Woodson's way. Okay. He's not going to have it. I almost don't want people to suggest things to him, because if they are good ideas, he's definitely not going to try them. So I just want him to just have free reign, because any and all sound suggestions are going to get just blacklisted. So
I think that's actually a perfect segue to ask you this question from the chat before I let you go, Burke. By the way, of course, thank you for your time. Philip asks, Burke, do you want Indiana to fall apart so Woodson gets fired?
No, I don't want Indiana to fall apart, but I just want people up top to see what any basketball fan can see. Like it's the entire Big Ten season, and it's like the 4 people making decisions at Indiana are just the 4 that don't, or they just flat out refuse to. I'm never going to wish for the downfall of the Indiana Hoosiers. We are going to win tomorrow. Sorry, guys. Somehow I'm going to talk myself in to the Hoosiers going out there and winning every game, because the tagline for the Often Taunted podcast is ignorantly optimistic. And a way that I can, it's a survival mechanism almost. You got to be ignorantly optimistic when the writing is pretty much on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Well, so let me ask you one more final question. What saves Mike Woodson's job?
Big Ten title. Like I am Delulu, Philip. I am. I promise, dude. I promise. But I don't see it. I don't see how anybody with a mind for the numbers. Like, it just seems like we're a program that doesn't understand computers, because anybody who understands what we're trying to do with the computers would understand Indiana has not had like one computer pretty game, It's always looks bad. And it's just, I don't know what it's going to take, because I thought some things would have been done by now, but I only want him to win. It's unfortunately, it just seems like there's just no way, because it's a lot of the same things with the season earlier this year. Indiana was unable to get up for neutral site games, and Indiana fans only want a 6 banner, man. That's all we want. That's all we want. And it's like, if you can't give it to us, no matter if it's like a 1 in whatever chance, if we don't see it there, like, we have to move on. And he cannot win the neutral site games, and it takes 6 neutral site games to win a national championship. And if you can't do that, or we can't see a world in which that can happen, we got to move on.
Well, I will say, Burke, I don't feel too sorry for Indiana fans after the football season you guys all just had. But I do want to say, again, thank you for coming back on, and a very hot take with that, Indiana Hoosiers prediction to win. Has the spread come out yet? Have you seen it?
Oh, no. Yeah, we are absolutely underdogs, because I think Ken Pom has Indiana losing their next 9 games. So, Ken Pom has Valentine's Day being Indiana's next win. So.
Well, I'm just hoping the next one, selfishly.
Hey, I want to say on the show while I can, Locked On Illini, I am furious at Kasparis Jakusionis, because this guy is going to give Brad Underwood every ounce of good grace, like, for off seasons to come. This dude, like, what he has delivered with the unknown hype surrounding him that you guys generated, like, this season that he is putting out there, hope he can come back, that he's having a special year. It has just bought him so much good off-season grace. Like, you guys can be a depleted roster. Like, he's going to find somebody. He's going to find somebody.
Yeah. We're, selfishly, we're very lucky to have a coach, and you kind of see the opposite side when, I get to.
And I'm like, hey, every guy you find, please send us another Luke. We need more of that in our building.
Yeah, I think my ideal scenario is a big blowout Illini win, but Luke Goody goes off for like 5 3-pointers and has like 22 points. I'd be okay with that. I know some Illini fans consider him a traitor, but for me, he got his degree. He did his thing at Illinois. He was quite honestly, I don't think he had a spot at Illinois anymore. Brad and him wanted to go in different directions, especially with the NIL that Luke wanted to collect, and he deserves to collect. And so for him to be able to round up his college basketball career and go to his boyhood favorite basketball team, I think it's great for everyone involved. Maybe I'm so nice now because I don't know if Indiana is going to be competing with Illinois, for the Big Ten championship. And if all of a sudden, in the Big Ten championship, Luke Goody goes off for 40 against Illinois, knocking us out, maybe I'm not going to be feeling so nice and jolly towards Luke. But I do hope he has a good game tomorrow. But like Philip says here, Luke scores 20 and Illinois wins by 20 plus. Would be
still very possible with the defensive effort that Indiana has given across the board lately. But I will say, for the exhibit of Luke Goody, he has earned Illinois a lot of respect in Indiana fans' eyes, honestly, like just the program as a whole, because we are desperately looking for these guys to show an ounce of metal, and Luke can consistently do it. And the fact that wasn't harvested here kind of hurts, but we do respect that. We know where he got it.
All right, Burke, before I let you go, can you let the folks know where they can find your content online?
You can find my absolutely pro-Indiana propaganda and retweet it all you'd like at Often Daunted across all socials. I have a weekly YouTube show, Often Daunted. Go ahead and follow me there. Yeah, I just love hopping on, talking Big Ten hoops with guys like Sunny. Can't thank you enough for having me on again, man.
Of course, I appreciate you, and hopefully this is not the last time I have you on.
Oh, no, far from.
All right, Burke, thank you so much.
See ya.
All right, let me that's too late on that one, my fault. That's going to wrap it up for today's episode of Locked On Illini, this live version on Monday night. That's right. Tonight you got 2 episodes. I hope you caught the earlier version. Wish I had an update for Conspiracy. As of now, I don't. And quite honestly, if you really think about it, if I'm Brad Underwood, that whole cloud of mystery that's coming with Conspiracy, even if he finds out tonight that Conspiracy is going to be playing against the Hoosiers on Tuesday night, why tell us? Why tell Mike Woodson? Why give the Hoosiers that bit of information? So more than likely Tuesday morning, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you've hit the like on this video, by the way, if you haven't already. I'll be releasing an Illinois perspective preview of what Illinois is going to need to do and do well to beat the Indiana Hoosiers on Tuesday night. Again, the game's at Assembly Hall. Indiana is still a talented bunch, and we don't know which team is going to show up, the good Indiana or the bad Indiana. But regardless, if Conspiracy is there, I'm going to feel a lot better. If Conspiracy is not there, this has the potential of being a very, very tough week for the Illini. I'm going to let you go after this. Again, I appreciate you all for tuning in on this Monday night. Until next time, I'll see you on Tuesday. ILL. Love you guys.